Donald and Elon, when is the fallout? That's my question. Donald Trump is going mad. Elon Musk clearly is mad in the approach that he's adopting to the management of the US government. But the one thing that both of them have in common is possession of the most massive ego. And Donald Trump has a history of falling out with people. Almost everybody who served him in his first administration left in disgust at his policies, his inability to make decisions, his failure to implement anything that he had talked about, and his utter inconsistency. At some point, even Elon Musk is going to get fed up with that. Or alternatively, Donald Trump is going to get fed up with the fact that Elon Musk is the person who's getting the attention, whilst he is being blamed for everything that goes wrong, managed by the likes of J.D. Vance. Whichever way it is, these two are going to bust up. I think we can call that as close to a certainty as anything in this world might be. And I'm not a person who believes too greatly in certainties, but this one seems so obviously likely that I think we could almost put money on it if you were a gambling person. And I'm not. So, what happens when they do fall out? I think that is a phenomenally important question, because at that point, the whole approach that Trump has had towards his government might fundamentally change. After all, he can't get rid of Musk without getting rid of his whole team, and his whole team are what makes up the Department for Government Efficiency, the DOGE as it is called. And they, if they depart alongside Musk, will leave with a mighty lot of records that they might not return to government because they will claim that they are now their property, and they will leave chaos and mayhem behind them, because the one thing that you can guarantee is that these people have not left an organized audit trail of their work in all the departments that they have had an impact upon, because that's the way they work. They are literally working by shock and awe. You don't then leave a detailed record of precisely what you did, when and how and why, and what the change to code was and everything else that you did, so that somebody can come along afterwards and reverse everything you did, or re-employ the people that you sacked, or whatever else it might be. And at that point, Trump might realize, one, just how foolish he's been, and two, just how impossible it might then be for him to put matters right. Because things are going to go wrong. The states cannot survive with this degree of chaos. It cannot sustain government when it is sacking people at the rate it is. It cannot maintain the provision of services on which people are dependent, whether it be Social Security or services to veterans or Medicaid or whatever it is, if Trump is determined, with Musk's assistance, to destroy the basis on which those services are supplied. There will be a fallout. Again, I think that's one of those things that we can say is pretty much a certainty. We just haven't got long enough into this administration as yet for that to happen, because good admin systems have their own sense of inertia. They keep going for as long as possible before the breaking point is reached. And so far, in most cases, that hasn't happened, although US aid is a definite exception. So there is going to be a fallout. And what happens then? Chaos, breakdown, or who knows? The point is, at that point, there will be some degree of national collapse, simply because these two massively egotistical and frankly deeply stupid men will have fallen out with each other on the consequences of what they're doing. I actually can imagine that it will be Musk who will walk, because he will want to go further than Trump will let him at the end of the day, because even Trump must realize there's only so far he can go. I am truly terrified of the consequences of this happening, because for the people of the USA, this could literally take weeks, months, and maybe a lot longer to recover from. People who don't get their checks, who don't get their medical support, who don't get the requirement that they have, for example, their medical conditions as a veteran, are going to suffer greatly. It's a simple, straightforward statement of fact that this will be the case. And if that's true, the Musk versus Trump fallout is going to hurt millions and probably tens of millions of Americans. Will a continuing Trump administration even be able to manage those consequences? And has anyone thought about what an emergency government to handle the mess might look like? Because it's entirely possible that that will be necessary. But J.D. Vance is most certainly not the person to lead that government, nor, frankly, is anyone in the Republican Party at the present point of time, when it seems all of them have sold out to what Trump is doing. What will America do when these two people fall out and the mess is revealed? What will the American government look like? How will it work? Will there be a technocratic solution, as there have been in other countries when things like this have happened? I don't know the answers to these questions, but I sincerely hope that somebody in the USA is thinking about them, because this is the sort of crisis that country is going to face, and very soon. And I'm deeply worried as to where they're going.